think back to your coaching experience, when you think back to your coaching journey, what actually inspired you to become a coach or a wellness practitioner? I know in this space I've got kinesiologists, I've got uh, and everything in between, that it's not necessarily just NLP. But thinking back on what inspired you to step into coaching specifically, because when we break it down, coaching is about assisting others to help them unlock their personal their personal potential. I know 100% of the time coaching absolutely works for those who are willing, able, and ready to transform. It's absolutely life-changing what comes up in a one-on-one session. And yes, we all know it can be really uncomfortable to let that stuff come to the surface, but the change is absolutely worth it. Thinking back on your experience as in the NLP world, like we're all nodding, like, yeah, it can be a little bit uncomfortable. But the power of coaching comes back to the act of asking a question to help somebody open that gateway to change, to help them see beyond the perspective that's caused them to feel stuck. And it really does open up that door to possibility and healing and transformation. But before we go into how to structure a coaching session, we need to explore boundaries, because who you are and how you are within a coaching session will dictate the outcome for you and for your client. So we really do need to explore this word, boundaries. Now, as coaches and wellness practitioners, we know that we're all natural givers. That's why we're driven to do what we do. And yet, as givers, possibly even empaths in this space, we are driven to give, give, give. Yet having that human experience, we also need to know how to receive. And so this is a big portion of what I wanted to talk about before we get into the structure of coaching. So I'll let Cassie in, because depending on your experiences in the past will actually dictate the type of client that you're attracting. If you're finding yourself attracting problematic clients, clients who aren't willing to say yes right at the front of that conversation about coaching, the power is in your hands to actually have a look at your boundaries, your beliefs, and what is it that's stopping you from actually attracting the clients that really, really set your heart on fire. This is from my own sort of personal experience, my own coaching experience being the client, and really going in deep to say, okay, where are your boundaries, Claire, within the sense of who you're letting in and also who you're saying no to. Boundaries goes both ways, right? Hey, Cassie. And so for a coach, setting your boundaries is about knowing who you are and what is important to you. Absolutely so important with the foundation of building up your business, especially when you coach your clients on their journey to understand what is acceptable, what's not acceptable for you, for both of you in that coaching relationship. As empaths, it can be skimmed over so quickly, and the team were like, you need to bring this to people's attention. So setting boundaries does help you to achieve that healthy work-life balance. It helps you avoid burnout, and it also prioritizes your self-care. It makes sure that you do have time for your family, because so many times people get addicted to that NLP world of giving, giving, giving. And thinking of a particular client, and she's like, I just want to work on my business. And it's like, part of working on your business is to work on you, time out for you too, so that you show up the best that you can. So before we jump off this particular topic, your boundaries are going to impact everything that you do. If you have weak personal boundaries and struggle to actually say no, which is part of that empath's journey, your energy will have a hard time with how you value yourself, how you receive money, and how your business grows. So looking at your own beliefs about what it means to say no and what it means to say yes to the right people is incredibly, incredibly valuable to your business success. Is this making sense, everyone? Yep, I love the nods. So as a coach, you need to look in within yourself to recognize, what does it mean if you say no. I've had clients where it's sort of they've made the inquiries and there's that wanting to give or wanting to be there to help, but knowing intuitively that they're not the right fit. And then I go through a whole, I used to anyway, this whole conundrum of like, how do I say no politely? But actually recognizing that saying no is so loving and giving so that they can find the person who is the right fit. But also keeping in mind that when you say no to the person, respectfully or not respectfully, however they interpret that no, can actually trigger that inner child response. So that's why the empath can have such a difficult, or the coach, depending on where you're at with your own journey, it's going to bring up stuff for you in the sense that you don't want to upset the other person. And again, that needs coaching around that. So this is your business, your style, and you need to make sure that you're saying yes to the right people. Your intuition will absolutely tell you who are the right yeses for. Keeping in mind that part of the coaching experience is to empower the client to be responsible and accountable to make things happen for themselves. So many times we want to give, share, this is what I would do. And it's actually like, wait, how can we empower the client to feel empowered in this world where previously they may have had their power stripped back? So again, that's a really big emphasis in my coaching sessions on helping that client come back to that sense of empowerment. And my question for you before we jump um, into the structure of the session, I want to go around the room and just have a think about, have you ever made great change feeling comfortable? Think about those times where, you may have had coaching or come into NLP and it's like, yeah, I don't feel like showing up. I don't feel comfortable doing this particular process. And it's like, that's right. That's all of your resistance. That's all of your old beliefs, the ego actually, that's holding you back from wanting you to actually grow. So comfort, there is, for me anyway, there is no comfort in actually moving through that, the old limitations, but it is about having the trust and the support in the place to be able to get to the other side. Does that make sense for everybody? And we're all nodding like, yeah, being there, those difficult coaching sessions is like, oh, I'm trying to make them as easy and as possible, easy and light as possible. But at the end of the day, it is that challenge between your intuition, your ego, and how you're moving forward to follow your purpose. Has anybody got any questions or any ahas about what I'm talking about when it comes to boundaries and why and how they're so important in your business?
When you're in a session, how do you hold the structure of the session and contain it within the amount of time that you have?
Yeah, that's we're about to go into how to structure a coaching session by the NLP standards, and I'll go through that. Time management, respecting people's time management. That's where it does take time in the early days to actually work out how you work, um, the style of coaching that you offer, to know what is the time frame, and if you're somebody who has a hard start and a hard ending, to respect each other's time, or if you're somebody there that has that wiggle room. I know for myself that anyone who's done coaching with me, my website says 75 plus minutes, and I don't hesitate to go up to 90 minutes if the client needs it. But I always ask permission to check in, like, do they have time if we go over? Um, but then there's a variation of different coaches who do laser coaching, which is like 20 minutes of coaching or 45 minutes of coaching. But they don't tend to go into the heavy duty processes, because you all know I love, love, love timeline, and that one tends to expand out, especially when I start going into past lives and quantum lives and stuff. But yeah, it comes back to the type of coaching that you offer. Because if you're somebody who's just not just a marketing coach, they may just have like questions about numbers, da 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 da. So not me. So you don't need the extended time, right? Did I answer that question, Sophie, or did I waffle again?
No, that was perfect. And I can feel you're about to lead into it anyway. So I'm just jumping ahead a little bit.
Something that my team are bringing to my attention was I did actually have a client that was pushing on, this was months ago, but they were pushing on my boundaries with timing and all sorts of different things. And they were coming to me with relationship problems where there was a lack of boundaries. She wasn't being treated very fairly by her partner. And then she was projecting that onto me. And I could talk to her about it. We could recognize it. But when I told her once, told her twice, told her three times, it's only ever happened maybe twice in my tenure of coaching that I actually gave her a refund as a learning to say, when people push your boundaries, it's okay to say no. And I was saying no by offering her that tough love lesson of saying, like, thank you, but I'm not the right fit for you, in the sense that that coaching relationship wasn't being respected. It's a hard one to admit to in front of everybody, and it's a hard one to talk about. But I think it helps you in the long run to recognize that even when you do say no to somebody when they're not respecting your boundaries, that's a coaching moment for them too. Has anyone sort of got any opinions on that, or like, is it making sense? Yeah, Beck.
Yeah, it's interesting you talking about this, because I know I've got two clients who I should have at some point said no to. I perhaps didn't realize in the beginning.
Yeah.
And we're now, there's like literally one or two sessions left. And so
yeah.
I kind of go, let's just do this. It's painful, but it's been a really good lesson to learn. And I think, something you've just said, that I don't know the circumstances, how far you were through, or if it was at the beginning, but that's, I guess you have to be okay to say even halfway through, all right, we've done half the sessions, but it's not working, kind of thing. And that's the thing I'm really liking this conversation about boundaries, because I think I need to change some of the structure of how I present the original agreement, because just about everybody's okay, they're doing the work, but I've had these two clients that just will not do the work through the sessions, and they're just expecting to be fixed in the coaching sessions, which clearly is not how it works. So yeah, I have no particular point there, but this is
it's helpful.
Really helpful talking this through. Thank you. But
it's there's definitely some slides on that, on the red flag clients who want to be fixed. To empower you, Beck, I would have a look at, because I did the same thing. I went straight back to I promote coaching, so therefore I have a coach in the background and we do a workout in those. I'm teasing, but I'm joking there. But it's I had to look at myself on why I attracted that, on why I ignored those red flags. What was my agenda above and beyond hers when I let it slide once, twice, three. Do you know what I mean? So the empowerment goes back into you if you can reflect back on that learning, as you're saying there. Yeah, but one or two coaching sessions, like, just grit and bear it, right?
Yeah. I've pulled in the tough love now, and just I've been quite firm with one in particular. So I think we'll do the last session, and then that's that. Thanks very much.
Yeah. And what you'll find is that you'll be more alert to the next inquiry, in the sense that if they are a yes, it's like, I really do believe that, like, when the universe starts giving you those opportunities, like me on Tuesday, they said, here's an opportunity, and I said yes, and I took action, that the reward is coming. The reward is here. We're here to get together. I love these conversations. But the reward is that there's new clients, new inspiration, new projects coming, because I'm not sort of staying stuck in that old pattern.
Yeah.
Look, I was just thinking of a client that I've had for a while now, and she works really hard. Our sessions are really good, but there was something that come up that she wasn't really happy with the discussion. I asked her a couple of questions, and and she actually fed back to me she wasn't happy with me, and I just explained to her that I'm sorry that happened. I said, but I just had to be honest with you. I wanted to understand where you were coming from, and the topic she was not happy with was something we discussed at the start of the journey, that we wouldn't be going into that. I sort of set out the things that we would work on, and this other area wasn't something that I felt I could manage, and I explained that to her because she had other people who were helping her in that direction. And what actually happened was I just pointed out, I said, do you remember when we first started out that this is what we agreed on? And she said, oh, Krishna, she said, you're right. She said, thank you for explaining that. And she was like, after that, she just said, I feel so foolish. She said, don't worry about that. I said, you know, I'm glad we've had this conversation because now we can move forward. And it was a really good outcome. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so pleased you spoke up, Krishna, because everybody in the room, I reckon everyone in the room's hearing that, and like that gold nugget, like, and Beck's already stated it, the agreements at the beginning of where your boundaries are and what you're comfortable working on. So important. And that's really helpful to hear that, she took that on board and recognized where your boundaries were, right? It's like, I'm not going past that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're all teachers in this space. Yeah, Beck.
It's just made me realize, like, I give people a written agreement. Obviously, we talk about this stuff in our discovery calls and first sessions, but I give people a written agreement, and it's the expectation that they read it and sign it and they send it back. But you've just, I don't know, it seems quite obvious to me, Krishna, but it's made me think I need to go through this stuff with them on the call as well, and to say, you've signed it, but let's just talk about this and make sure that we agree verbally as well. So thank you.
Yeah. Yay. That's awesome. Let's dive into the structure of a coaching session. And
I just had a quick question. When you are saying no to someone, how do you hold them and see them as being like an autonomous sovereign soul, if that makes sense? And like really hold them in like, this is a no, but I know that this no is like the best thing for both of us.
Yeah, and often if you actually say those words to the person, Sophie, they're likely to be the one who refers more people to you. It's the most bizarre experience where you're like, oh, I don't think I'm a right fit, but it's with love and integrity. And they're like, cool. And then they go tell your friends, and it's friends, and it's like, oh wow, I was not expecting that. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for that question there, Sophie. Is that something that you've had to do with people saying like no, knowing that they're not the right fit for your modality?
Not yet, but I can imagine it'll happen.
In saying that, there are ways of saying no without actually using the word no, but how does that impact your client if you don't use the word no?
Yeah, some people just don't get it, and you actually have to be really firm about it. And then you're right, and then some people you just have to know very quickly, be able to profile them to know which way to best handle that. Yeah.
Because with conflict resolution, you're taught ways to say no without saying no. But as you're saying that, how would it still impact them? Do you use the word no for them to actually get it and to go right in here? Or do you not use the word no, but tell them in a different way for them to understand it?
Yeah, again, that comes back to profiling the client. So you're right, when it comes to NLP, we're taught to chunk up to agreement. And it is to come up to like, I can see the potential in you, I can see the dreams and the way that you could be able to move forward, but I strongly know that I'm not the right person to help you achieve that. Like let me give you Amy's number. Yeah, and that's where some of the NLP community that I'm creating is. Rick had said to me, Claire, you need to go and create other NLP practitioners so that you can refer, because there was a stage there where, yeah, it was like this 9-month wait list, and it was like, yeah, let me give you Sue's number, Amy's number, let me give you. And I've said, like even people who's like, teach me mediumship, like, let me give you Denise's number. Is that right, Denise? Well, like,
Yes. Sharing is caring.
yeah. So anybody there who wants to just learn mediumship, anyway, I'll plug you all, share everybody's businesses alike.